this is him.
Oh, he's just
a little nervous. Well, it's like one of those situations you read about, you know, meeting the in-laws. But you two seem great. I'm sure I have nothing to be nervous about. But still.
Let's go into the
great.
I think he's adorable.
I don't like him.
Oh, George.
We are throwing it back a bit to Father of the Bride, a family comedy that highlights the sometimes tricky relationship between newlyweds and in-laws, that time of life when parents of adult kids meet their child's significant other and navigate how to develop a new relationship with their adult child and the person they love. It can be a tricky transition for parents with young adults. My next guest has advice to help parents connect with their child's sweetheart. Joining me is Dr. Tom Golightly, a psychologist at Brigham Young University. Does that seem familiar? Do you remember meeting your in-laws for the first time?
Oh my goodness, yes. And funny story, I guess. My wife and I met as camp counselors away from both of our families.
Okay.
We're from different states. And we met, fell in love, got engaged away from our families, and I'll never forget that first time that my wife introduced me. Hi, Mom and Dad, this is my fiance, Tom.
Oh, fiance.
And I thought, you know, my parents raised me better than this. but you know, my in-laws were great, handled it with aplomb, and very classy. And even though there was probably doubt and skepticism, they didn't ever let on and really got to know me. So I appreciated their openness to what was probably
Sure.
not their expectation.
Sure, and no matter the situation, I think there is that shock, no matter what stage or scene I think that introduction happens in. Here's what I want to know. Does that first interaction, that first reaction, can that affect the relationship long-term going forward?
Yes, I mean there's so many factors that can, but the first interaction, if you have those expectations, and we all do, and they're well intended. We love our kids, we know their potentials, we might have their career paths set in our mind, we might have even who they should end up with in our minds, and when that isn't met, if we express that disappointment, if we express that dissatisfaction, even subtly, kind of like on the clip a little bit, it can impact our child's desire to want to come to us in the future with any relationship issues, or even if for positive interactions, they're kind of like, I don't know if Mom and Dad are cool with this.
So you want parents listening to drop the agendas?
I think that's the biggest thing, is to kind of, if you have those career paths and those issues that are out there that you expect for your child, we have to let go of those and live the reality that they're in.
Tom, how can parents, what can they do to help couples form that connection that we know is so crucial in the beginning, that strong foundation? What's parents' role in that?
I think the biggest mistake that I see parents making is becoming, one, overly involved and not allowing the couple to set some boundaries for themselves. So, for example, the first sign of trouble, if someone comes running home or gets on the phone, gently redirecting and saying, you know what, no, you need to form this bond. It's your turn to confide, to give advice to each other, and our role has really shifted. We're not a player in the game anymore. We're kind of a consultant and a coach, and sometimes we kind of become too involved and we don't let that form seal. You know, the metaphor I like to use is like in canning. It's the pressure that sets the seal on the jar, and if we take that pressure away, the seal isn't going to take as well on the marriage, and it's our job to encourage and coach, but not become overly involved that way.
Of course, we should say there are some exceptions to that if they come with extreme concerns, or
definitely,
if their safety is in jeopardy.
Definitely. If there's abusive situations, if there's harm involved, we absolutely want to respond to that, and that's a different set of skills and critical response. But it's important to if it's short of abuse, short of those issues, that we kind of allow that relationship to develop the way it needs to.
Parents want their married kids to be there for family activities, family events, engaged couples as well. What's the best way to balance your wants with their new relationship, with their new lives together?
I think one of the most difficult things is as we family plan, we want the fun vacation with all of the kids and all the in-laws and all of the grandkids. But sometimes what I see, and this has been really problematic in a lot of the couples that I work with, an expectation that they're at every Sunday dinner, that they're at every big family vacation. And what that often does is it prevents the other side of the family from being involved. And when we expect them to be as involved as they were when they were single, we're kind of discounting the other person has an agenda and some things to do.
It might be easy to see that from the outside in your position or even in the couple's position. How as parents do you know if you're overdoing it? I mean, there are always well-meaning intentions behind it, right?
Exactly, and I think one of the things that that might be helpful to realize as a parent is if you're doing the exact same thing, if you have the exact same expectation from before, that you will be at these things, you will be at this event, you will come on vacation with us. When if you need them at the vacation, that's great. Involve them in the planning. Let them help pick dates. Let them pick how long they want to be there. Maybe they don't need to be there the 5 to 7 days. Maybe it's 2 to 3 days. And just involve them and empower them to start making decisions as a couple and to have those conversations to see how they're going to juggle all of those demands.
Great advice. Great advice. I know you're not there yet, but you may want to keep your own advice handy.
A little too close for comfort, I know.
In a few years. Great information. Thank you so much.